In this video, we're going to look at integers and the order of operations. So remember, the order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division, whichever comes first from left to right, and then addition or subtraction, and also whichever comes first from left to right. So the same order of operations apply to integers as it did to whole numbers. We'll see it's the same for fractions and for decimals, but it's still worth practicing to see some of the situations that might come up with integers. So use a highlighter to highlight the operations in the problem. Then compute the results by using the correct order of operations. Check your results on your calculator. So let's start with the first one. So here, this is a subtraction symbol. Notice that's a negative sign. Here we have an addition. This is another subtraction and another addition. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 operations to perform. Okay. Since they're all addition or subtraction, we're going to perform them from left to right. But here's something we're going to do a little bit differently. When you have signed numbers, start by rewriting the problem as addition. So I'm going to start with 12. Instead of subtraction, I'm going to write plus and change the sign of the second number. So this was negative, now it's positive. This was already addition, so plus 6. This is minus 2. I'm going to change that to plus negative 2. And then we have plus negative 1. Okay, so now we can just use the rules for adding signed numbers, which means if the signs are the same, we add their absolute values and keep the signs of the original numbers. If the signs are different, we will subtract and keep the sign of the larger absolute value. So let's do this. We could actually do this in any order when we have addition, but I'm going to do this from left to right. So 12 plus 5, now we have 17. And copy down the rest of the problem so we don't lose anything along the way. Next we have 17 plus 6, well that's 23. Now we'll copy down the rest of the problem, plus negative 2 plus negative 1. Next we have 23 plus negative 2. Well, the signs are different, so we'll subtract. 23 minus 2 is 21. Since 23 is larger and it's positive, our result is positive. And finally, we have 23 plus negative 1. The signs are different, so we'll subtract. 21 minus 1 is 20. Okay. And since 21 is larger and it's positive, our result is positive. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Here we have division, division, and notice here they're right next to each other, so this is implied multiplication. It's not subtraction, this is the sign of the negative number. So this is a multiplication, so we have to perform 1, 2, 3 operations. Okay. It's all multiplication or division, so I'm going to do these from left to right. So negative 24 divided by 4, well, I think of the unsigned numbers. 24 divided by 4 is 6. A negative divided by a positive is negative. Now let's copy down the rest of the problem. Divided by negative 2 times negative 3. Okay. Next we have negative 6 divided by negative 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Since both of the signs are negative, my result is positive. Okay, and then I'm going to put this right next to it. So 3 times negative 3. So remember, this means 3 times negative 3. And then this is our last operation. 3 times 3 is 9. We have a positive times a negative, so our result is negative. And we have negative 9. Let's look at the next one. So here we have division, multiplication, subtraction, and then here, this is implied multiplication. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 operations to perform. Okay. Now notice there is both division, multiplication, and subtraction. So that means that we need to do all of the multiplication and division first from left to right, and when all of those are completed, we'll do any addition or subtraction. So let's start on the left. 26 divided by 2, well, that's 13. They're both positive, so the result is 13, positive 13. I'm going to copy down the rest that's not underlined. Okay. Now, next we have multiplication. 13 times 5. Well, 13 times 5 is 65. They're both positive, so my result is positive. Minus negative 3 times negative 4. Now we have subtraction. We're going to skip that. We have to do all the multiplication and division first. So I'm going to multiply negative 3 times negative 4 next. So here's our 65 minus, well, 3 times 4 is 12, and a negative times a negative is positive. So we have 65 minus 12. And we've completed all the multiplication and division. We have one operation left, and 65 minus 12 is 53. Okay. So something that would be a very good practice for you to do is to try to do these on your own without looking at the work from this video. Students often say, oh, it's so easy when you do it, but then I try to do it by myself and it gets difficult. If you have 4 operations, there's actually 24 different ways that you could perform these operations, and some of them you can do it wrong and you get it right. Some of them you do it wrong, you get it wrong. And then, of course, if you do it correctly, you'll get the answer correct. So you want to practice, and then you can check your work step by step if you make an error or get a different answer to see where you went wrong. Okay, we'll do the next 3 in the next video.